Hello, and welcome to The Deep Dive. I'm Adam Mueller. A few St. Thomas students made up the almost 6,800 racers that finished the Twin Cities Marathon on Sunday. Running in the 26-mile event requires different journeys, and here's 3 different paths by St. Thomas runners. Junior Dylan Thomas has had October 6th circled on his calendar for a long time.
I actually signed up on the day that it opened, so that was like back in the last fall.
And although he's ready now,
Started training in about April or May.
that wasn't always the case.
I've been struggling with the motivation for this marathon.
Thousands of people will take to the streets for the Twin Cities Marathon. Some of them are the faces you see on campus every day. Students like Dylan have been dealing with the ups and downs that come with marathon training.
I think when I find it, it's just like being able to like lock into those moments and be like, okay, I'm doing this, and just I notice my mental attitude is there. Racing a marathon, I'd say it's 95% mental effort.
Junior Griffin Pehrson's internal challenge is a result of something a little more external.
My training regimen didn't go as planned at all because heading into it, obviously I didn't expect to have an injury. Doing this motion while you're running, super bad, like searing pain in the side of your knee.
Pehrson suffered an injury to his iliotibial band.
IT band is called runner's knee. When these muscles that are around it don't support it properly, then it'll tighten up and it will feel a lot of pain from it.
He hopes others don't make the same mistake he does.
The people that are doing their first marathon, make sure you have a plan.
The injury won't stop Griffin though. He's still running the race. On Summit Avenue, where he'll be running his last 5 miles, he reflects.
Fear's the wrong word for it. I would say that I'm uneasy about it. I don't know what to expect, but I'm not scared of it. As I'm preparing to run this actual physical race, I'm also preparing to run this race of life too. And so I've learned a lot about myself and who I am through just training.
Junior Hallie Runez is also on a journey.
So I started running in January with my dad, and I did it just to stay active for volleyball, stuff like that. And then I wanted to keep running, but it's not super enjoyable.
So Hallie did the rational thing for someone who doesn't enjoy running. Sign up for a marathon.
It's a lot easier to run when I'm working towards something.
Now, she considers herself a runner.
It's kind of all that I think about. It's all I think about, talk about, stuff like that.
For Hallie, the people who will be with her at the start,
Just having one other person with you while you're running gives you the motivation to do it.
and those waiting for her at the finish line,
I have a very large group of people that are coming to watch me, which is so awesome.
are everything.
I have a huge support system, and that's really awesome.
She's not intimidated by those 26.2 miles ahead of her, especially that last stretch that she and her fellow Tommies know so well.
The last 6 miles are basically from here to the Capitol. I run Summit multiple times a week. Once I hit that 20, I'm like, oh, it's just Summit. It's just Summit. I'm almost there.
What these students are doing isn't impossible, and they want you to know it.
Anyone can do it. It's just you really got to work for it.
Push yourself outside your comfort zone, and that's where you're gonna grow, for sure.
I think people underestimate their abilities. I used to barely be able to run a mile, and now I'm about to run a marathon. And so I feel I think that's a pretty cool thing.
For the Crest.News, I'm Adam Mueller. Juniors Dylan Thomas and Griffin Pehrson join us on the Deep Dive to reflect on every step. Thanks for joining us, guys, and congrats on finishing the marathon.
Of course, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Dylan, this was your second marathon, so how did it compare to the first one? I want to know the difference.
Honestly, there was a lot of muscle memory for me from running the first one. So I think when I started to get in that last 6 miles, I had a way different mental attitude. I was like, okay, it's only 6 miles left now, instead of, oh my gosh, I still have 6 miles. So I think it was a lot different, but it was good.
Griffin, you mentioned in the video that you expected to feel a little uneasy at the starting line. Is that accurate to how you felt?
I would say, yes, I felt uneasy, but I felt a lot of emotions. I had a lot of caffeine that morning, so I was definitely pent up. I was ready to go. I felt so much invigoration and just ready to go energy that it was hard to maintain myself at the start line. So honestly, I felt, rather than uneasy, I felt very ready for that race. Yeah.
Yeah, your injury presented a physical challenge, obviously, and then, of course, a mental challenge. But I also understand you went through some spiritual growth as well. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. I felt I kind of talked about this with you earlier, but I felt as I was preparing for this race and about to run this actual physical race, I was preparing myself and running this race of life and finding who I was as a person. And so I feel you experience these ups and downs through training of this day is going super good and this run was super bad and this one sucked. And so like we have those days as human beings in general, and I think one thing I learned is like how to change your perspective, not your situation. And I noticed that like a lot of my situations weren't going good in my life at the time, but as I was growing and preparing for this marathon, the Lord worked in my heart to change my perspective on life around me. And so I experienced a lot of growth on how to approach life and how to discover who I am while also preparing to like run this race and like finish this race. So I was running the race of life while also preparing for a race to run. So it was super cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Dylan, I've got to know what your recovery has looked like the past couple days after running this thing.
Okay, so I actually went on a run yesterday with my brother. Believe it or not, like going downstairs has been like the hardest thing for me.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
I've been like just like struggling to go downstairs. But recovery, it's just like I kind of laid around, honestly, like did a lot of walking. And then I ran yesterday, but my legs are like at 75% recovered, I'd say. So
You got any classes on like the 4th floor of a building or anything?
yeah, I do. So a lot of stairs actually.
Yeah, that's for sure.
What did it feel like when you kind of turned that last turn and you had that last kick down Summit Ave with people watching right by campus?
It felt really surreal. I think seeing like the big United States flag, and then just like the finish line, I was just like, at that point, I was just like, I'm so close. I'm right there. It's just like I didn't even care about my time. I didn't care about anything. I just wanted to be done running.
Griffin, you said that you had some friends helping you train you along the way, and they were also there on the race day to help you replenish. How important was it to have people join you in the journey?
Oh my gosh, it was so essential. I think if I were to go out and run 26 miles with no people cheering me on or around me, I would have maybe made it 10 miles and probably collapsed. But for me, just having that support, it was astronomical. Like it made all the impact in the world. I had guys stopping at mile 5, mile 7, mile 9, mile 11, like giving me my gel packets, giving me my water, all the stuff I needed. And then that last like 8-mile push was probably the toughest 8 miles of my entire life. And to have fans like by your side cheering you on, that's what helps you push through and cross that finish line for sure.
Yeah, Dylan, pretend I'm someone who's maybe on the fence about running a marathon, kind of thinking about it. Give me your best pitch on why I should do it.
The fans. Like I say, if you like go to the marathon, like that's a start. Like
Yeah.
if you're like on the fence about it, just go and watch the race. And like I'm like 99% convinced that like if you watch the race, you'll sign up for a marathon after watching one.
Okay, maybe I'll come to watch you. I don't know about anything. Griffin, you set a goal to finish in under 4 hours.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
I went 3:48.
Okay.
So yeah, I did it. My one concern was like, is my knee gonna hurt at some point? And so that would have affected my time. But I mean, praise God, my knee never hurt the entire race. So it was such a gift to cross that finish line, 3:48. And honestly, my last 6 miles, I was running like a 9:40 pace, like just trying to keep my feet moving at some point. So yeah, it was a blessing to cross that finish line for sure. Yeah.
Dylan, I know you signed up for this one pretty early. Do you have another marathon circled on your calendar yet?
No, I think like getting through this race was like the big thing, and then it's like I was super happy with my time. So now I'm just like taking it easy, and then I guess we'll see from here where we go.
What about you, Griffin? What's next for you?
Yeah, I think this is a one and done for me. You know, like I ran the marathon. I'm happy I accomplished that, but I don't think I'll do it again. I kind of want to go for the whole shebang of just doing like marathon, half marathon, 10 mile, 10K, 5K. Have all the medals and just be done. That's
right.
it for me, yeah.
All right, thanks for coming in today, guys.
Yeah, of course.
Follow along at thecrest.news and follow us on social media at The Crest News for more stories from your campus community. With Dylan Thomas and Griffin Pehrson, I'm Adam Mueller. We'll see you next time we deep dive.